guys, and welcome to Keep Hope Alive podcast. We have another great show for you. As you can see all the little snowflakes behind me, and we have our wonderful guest, Miss Daisy Papp, is here to be with us on Keep Hope Alive today. And she has done so much. I'm just reading over her bio going, oh my gosh, she's remarkable. I just don't know how to sum her all up. So, but before we get started on this wonderful show that's about to happen, I have a quote I would like to read out. Now, hope lies in dreams and imagination and the courage of those who dare to make their dreams a reality. This was written by Jonas Salk. And I just, with these quotes that I keep giving out, I want people to really think about those too, because everything that we hear and take in life is so important. And hope is one of them, whether you're getting through, anything, grief, tragedy, maybe you're going through a divorce, or you're just happy in love and getting married. It can be happy stuff too. So, but with these quotes, just bring love and light and peace. Also, Daisy, before we get started, I gotta ask you the golden question.
Oh, there's a golden question.
Golden question. How many weddings have you been to in the last 10 years?
None.
None. Okay. Well, let's pretend we're going to a wedding.
Okay.
Our friends getting married. We walk into the ceremony site. What do we see there to sign?
What we see to sign is like it depends if it is a wedding at a faith facility, or if it is in front of the courthouse, then they're signing the marriage papers,
license,
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is right. Also, well, good call. Hey, that's a pun right now. Yeah, let's rephrase. They're getting married at a church. So usually we see the guest book when we're coming in and everything. Well, Life on Record is one of our main sponsors. They took away that guest book and they put a vintage rotary phone there. So now your guests can pick it up, leave a message for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, hopefully not 30 minutes, but they also have a QR code so the guests can scan it with their phone and they can leave their messages before, after, during. I don't interrupt the ceremony and leaving messages. So that's a golden rule. Do it after. So, but what they do is collect everybody's celebration messages to them, and they'll burn it on a 12-inch vinyl record. Or they have this cute little boom box you can get it in. And, it's great for listening to voices. I say that's the most healing thing is when you can hear somebody say, congratulations, because it's all in the tone of the voice. It'd be like, you finally got married. Way to go. Could be a message, But it's fun to reflect on those as well. Now, their plans start at $99, and you can find them. You get this phone number for 1 year. You can find them at www.lifeonrecord.com. So sounds like a cool thing to do. I think it could be for any event, though. Like, it doesn't just have to be wedding. I know we used it. My son plays football, and one of the kids broke his leg. So some of the kids actually called in and left a get well message for him. So, I mean, you can use it for any way. So I want to dive right in, Daisy. I love your name, Daisy. So you were raised in Germany and you can speak 3 different languages, it says. So what languages are you speaking?
Okay, that's a good question. First of all, thank you very much for your invitation. I truly appreciate for having me. Oh. Well, I was born and raised in Germany, and my mom was German, so therefore my mother tongue is German. And I speak English, as you can hear, as my third language, and actually my second language. And then I speak Hungarian as well. My father was from Hungary.
Oh, wow. So you really picked up a lot. Was it hard to learn new languages? Like, people go, oh, you're from Texas, so you speak Spanish. And I'm like, Paquito, no, I don't know that much Spanish. Just because I'm next to Mexico or New Mexico. Yeah. I mean, when my kids were little, I watched Dora. I know my colors. I know other things, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things that it will help you with your journey, knowing other languages, which is good.
Mm,
So, and then also in 2008, you found the secret recipe to healing the past. I want to hear
mhm.
more about that. So you have self-recoding. I want you to dive into that right now and let us know what that actually means.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you for the question. Self-Recoding is the name of the brand that I founded back then
Okay.
because I was thinking, okay, I found many modalities. I studied many modalities. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychotherapist of any sort. Nevertheless, I was fortunate enough to be very curious and to study with some of the finest in the industry back in the days. And I realized that some modalities, they function well, and sometimes you get results and sometimes you don't. So I was very hungry and I went further and further and studied more. And what I did, I made a recipe to really pick out the most functional and the most progressive and the most effective
Yeah.
parts and pieces of modalities, and then I mixed them together, and that further developed, of course, since 2008. And well, yes, healing the past, I do believe that it's possible because I'm living example.
That's good. Good. I mean, taking the past from people's lives, whatever they've been through, and just reevaluating it, talking it out, trying to get self-healing. And that's where self-love comes. I feel like once you understand what happened in the past, it will help you heal and to be able to move into maybe the next chapter. Yeah. So what do you think about that?
Well, it's interesting approach what you share, and it's very common that people think that when they speak about it, that then it heals. I disagree with that
Okay.
because it's like a record, what you mentioned at the
Yeah.
beginning of the show, like the vinyl record. It's engraved, and the more often we play that, then it's engraving more and more and more when we tell the same story and nothing changes. In order for me to be able to heal from the past, I must change my relation to the past. I cannot change the past, but I can change the meaning I give it, and I can change how I relate to it, and I can even overwrite it so that it doesn't change the past and it doesn't make the wrong right under no circumstances, but it can change how I relate to it. For example, in the past, my brother, my mother, and my godfather, they crashed in a plane on which I was supposed to sit on when I was 17. And of course, I had horrifying pictures in my mind, although I haven't been there. I was not live in the plane, otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here with you. And I made up pictures and they were horrifying, and my body responded to them. Today, when I speak about that plane crash, I know it happened, but I can speak about it without emotional attachment to it. So I unlinked the autopilot because it's not helping anyone when I rehearse the same story again because I'm engraving it in the vinyl further and further. I did that at a time and it
Yeah.
almost killed me. And then I realized, okay, so that's not how we're going to go. And then I went on my search and I wanted to find solutions, and I didn't give up. And that's why I'm here.
That's good. That's good. And you sounds like you're a warrior and go after it. I mean, I got to learn a lot from you. I really do because,
It's my
just
pleasure.
yes, definitely in life, there's different things. You also, I guess, been having training in the fields of NLP and EFT, energy, psychology, and then just other, and you worked with a lot of like well-known. You were already talking about working with these different leaders in the coaching industry, but for me, I'm like, I don't really know what NLP is and
Mm,
EFT. Can you tell me
yes.
about those?
Sure, sure. NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. It's actually all about how the mind works. So, for example, how do I relate to the past? For example, when I ask you now, when is the last time you've seen a lemon?
Now I saw a lime last, a lemon. Oh, geez. That was like in the end of June, maybe. Yeah.
So you don't eat lemons, okay?
Nope,
That's
it was a
fine.
decoration on a
It
drink.
was a decoration, okay?
Yep.
Now, when you remember that you've seen a lemon in June, how do you know you've seen it? When you reconstruct that memory now in your head, right here. So do you see it in color or in black and white?
I see it in a color because I had to, it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was a shot called a birthday cake, but it tastes like batter, but you have to suck the lemon. So
Aha,
yeah,
aha. So,
it's like I love cake batter. So yeah, that was my
okay.
shot of choice, but that's the last time I saw lemon.
Okay.
So
Okay, very good. But you see, so now you told me that you've seen it in your mind. Where's that cake? It's non-existent, right? Right here, right now, it's non-existent. So
yeah,
you can reconstruct it and you see it in color. There are other memories that we have the tendency to see in black and white. Some
okay,
some memories are still, some memories are like short movies. Others have sound, others are big, some are like a big screen, some are tiny. So that is all what NLP actually focuses on. So how we think and what we do in our brains, so we can be brain users and not only brain owners. In short.
got you. That's very smart, like really smart. So wow. And then what is EFT?
EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, that stems from TFT originally, TFT, Thought Field Therapy. Dr. Callahan, who realized that he was able to shift emotional attachments to memories and to physical ailments by
Yeah.
using the meridian system that is also used during acupuncture. He didn't use needles, he used the stimulation with two fingers and specific points of the body that are acupuncture points. And that was TFT. And then came one of his students. He said, so, okay, it was so complicated. We had all sort of sequences we needed to tap or simulate for specific ailments or for specific situations. And then this student of Callahan said, oh, well, why don't we tap them all? And then that is how EFT, emotional freedom technique, evolved.
See, I remember acupuncture for what, checking for allergies.
Yes, sure.
Oh, that was the worst thing I never wanted to do as a kid. And they
Mm,
told me, well, mom, if you're watching this one, they told me I was allergic to dogs and chocolate.
mm,
No, I'm allergic to vanilla and cats. That's what I'm
mhm,
allergic to. So my mom knew I always wanted a dog, and she knows I love chocolate. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking she tricked me on that one as a young kid. So, but other than that, then also you spent hundreds of hours conducting seminars and workshops for people.
yes.
So, I mean, they were all talking about what you do. I mean, I know you have your own podcast. I know you have a book out helping all these people. So walk me into one of your workshops that you do.
Okay. So it depends on the needs of the people. So sometimes I do lectures for the community. Sometimes I do
Mhm.
workshops for educators. I do workshops for company owners, small businesses. I do workshops for, well, groups of like-minded people.
Mhm.
And some of them are free of cost through my foundation, the Daisy Papp Mindset Evolution Foundation, but I also work with companies and corporations and businesses. And for example, when it comes to business, humans do business with humans. That is inevitable, no matter how much AI and no matter how you want to really robotize the world, humans are still needed, and there's conflict.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
and and when there's conflict, then there's either conflict and when they call me, or they want to expand and grow and better themselves or increase productivity. And I share with them how their mind works, and I share with them how they can clean out the emotional backpack that we all have so things can get smoother. Let's say at a workplace where somebody goes to work every day and there's one of the colleagues who who we're allergic to. Maybe not physically, but emotionally
Yes.
or visually, or somehow we have some hardship going on, and it is very easy to get rid of those. And I help people acquire knowledge about themselves so that they know who they are, because only when I know who I am will I be able to relate to others. And when I
Yes.
relate to others, then I will also be able to choose how I can relate in a healthier way to others. And then, for example, bullying stops, and teamwork increases, productivity increases. It becomes a more peaceful environment. And so these are things that I do. And then,
That's
of course, I
good.
help individuals to get rid of their own traumatic events and hardships. And then all of a sudden, the company ends up having really empowered and inspired people who run their business. And can
Yes.
you imagine these people who work there? They're so loyal then that they're not going to leave. You can
Yeah.
offer them a higher pay or maybe greater benefits, but it's also about loyalty. And I think that
Yeah.
when we promote the human factor and humanness and human values, the increase of productivity and then therefore also profit is inevitable.
Wow, you are so accurate and right on that. I just feel like when a company has positivity and it's run on it, you're going to see your sales and more vendors come towards you. But if
Yes,
there's a dip in that pool, then it's just kind of like you're waving and just praying and hoping is what I call. So team building and having time management, both of those in my
I
eyes,
agree.
it will go together to raise it
Yes.
to have more productive outsources and everything. Now, it's funny you were talking about AI, because learning that in the marketing field right now, it's like, seriously, a robot wants to take over our jobs. What
Yeah.
are humans going to do? Are we just going to sit back and relax, or is this world just going to be full of robots and we get wiped out? But that right there, I can't think negative. I was like, you know what? I'm good at what I do. No robot's going to take over my job. My value is worth it here, because it
Mhm.
is about human to human relationships and
Exactly.
building vendor quality needs. Like being in the party industry, if I can't promote somebody if I don't know what it is that they're really offering. I could have a conversation on the phone, like, and you could have a venue, but I haven't physically been in there and created that bond. And it's like, when I talk to a bride and groom, I want to be able, yes, I was there. It was gorgeous. Off to the side, they have this little bar area that's embedded into the staircase, the way they decorate. This is what I know they do. And the more information you can give a couple, the better it is. And I believe that with my photography, what I capture is coming from my heart, from what I
Yes,
actually see. It's not
exactly.
being a trained thing. It's being, this is what it is. And I've captured that moment for you. And it was a beautiful moment. So just it's so different. But the world of business, going in and teaching them, that's remarkable. And are you getting booked out a lot for that all the time? I bet.
N Well, not so much, because people consider me the the world's best kept secret at times, so that I didn't come up with that term, so that was given me.
Yes,
People
yeah,
people write that about me, that I'm the world's best kept secret, and they wonder why I not all over the place. Well, I'm not, and I enjoy my private life, but
right.
it's getting larger and bigger. To me, it's much more important to promote human values, because no machine will be able to take that from us. And when we promote human values, then let's use these technologies for the good, but let us be the ones in control with our human values. And it's like a knife. I
Yeah.
can eat delicately, or I can carve something in a fruit, or I
Yeah.
can go over to my neighbors and steal their roses. It's up to me. So
Yeah.
I think it's technology is not bad. It depends on who's using it and for what. And that is, I think, when we promote human values, then humans who value human values will handle these technologies in a much more delicate and better way for humanity.
Yeah, you are the hidden gold mine secret, your best kept
Thank
secret.
you.
Yeah, because, I've also wondered about that too. But, speaking upon AI right now is just like, I feel like it's really going to hit once we cross the new year, 2024. Like, we're getting prepped, kind of hearing about it, but I feel like it's going to make this grand slam within the next year or so. So
In which area?
I just think the way chats are done, I feel like the way marketing is getting done. I had a talk with my 11-year-old son because I forgot what the program's called. I need an essay on this.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, you know what? Your teachers better be smart enough to realize that is a computer writing that for you. That's not you learning and sitting down to do the work. I want you to be the way I grew up. You sit down, you study what you're going to write about, and you write it out. So I just,
Well, it's important that we remain self-thinkers, because
yeah,
otherwise we have a bunch of machines thinking for us, and then the human factor is gone. So I think it is up on us what we do and how we stand, and the more we promote human values, then the easier we will be able to utilize these technologies for the good. And yes,
yeah,
I agree. I think it's important that children like your son's age is capable and competent in using these technologies, and at the same time being a self-thinker and being able to do it just without it.
exactly, exactly. And I think
Yeah.
of all kids at school doing this. My son, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging because I really
Mhm.
didn't know what to do with this news. When he was younger, he did get diagnosed as a genius. And I was like,
Mhm.
genius? Wait a minute. I don't know what to do with that. But he likes reading, he likes memorizing. Like, you can name a city in the world, doesn't matter where, find it. He's memorized the flags, goes what country and stuff. And
Super.
then he's memorized Bible verses. I was like,
Nice.
okay, we got this. And he memorizes football plays.
Oh.
So he told me, age 11, this was just about 2 months ago, Mom, I'm going to be a pro football player, but when I retire, I'm going to be a children's minister. It's like,
Mm.
okay, well, let's work on that together. These are your goals in life. I support you.
Sweet.
I will follow in your lead. But it's funny how people perceive it. When I mentioned it, I wanted to see how a person I didn't know would respond to, yeah, my son memorizes this and he wanted to go to church. And I just was honest with this person at a bar out of all places, and the guy goes, it's all your fault, you did it to him. And I was like, no, actually I didn't. He came to terms with that on his own, and that's what makes it so special. Like,
Mm.
but that guy was quick to judge, right? Like, and we don't need that going to bring this into the industry. We don't need people to quickly judge other people while working in the same environment also. So when, team building, that is so important. I'm starting to see it in the event industry. We're picking up on team building activities. I got to just say, Party Time Texas, that's where I work, but they're doing like game shows now. Like, you can divide it up, janitorial against accounting, or the GMs against the front desk, and it's Family Feud style. Like, answer these
Sweet.
questions. But it's so funny because I heard somebody go, well, what if the janitors beat us and we're the accountants? I go, then you need to go back to studying. Like, but I think it's a great way to involve. And like, we're starting to see more like cello players, violinists starting to pick up more business. And it's something about that. And then in the entertainment, like, part of it, I get to see that I call them the glowy people with the rings and stuff. And then I was just at a big holiday event and they got the trapeze artists involved and stuff and put on a show. I was like, it's all stimulating for the brain. And then STEM, like I'm trying to see where all this does line up in the future for
Well, I
who
think it depends on us.
it
It
does.
depends on us what we do, because look, you can go with the flow, or you can say, no, I'm not playing along with that. And then you can use these technologies for your benefit and not against you. And I think it's more and more humans. That's why I think also these team building events, I've heard of those when I work with companies. They share with me what they do. And then they say, okay, so it's really great that day. And 2 weeks later, it's just all back to the old fashioned daily business. So it's not lasting. And when I see that there are particular modules that you can bring into companies that are lasting, because that increases how people really appreciate one another, that they
Yeah,
start caring,
yeah,
and it's beautiful to see. And I think that the B2B is over,
yeah.
and it's age to age, human to human. That's
That's
companies who want to thrive in the next 10 years. I think
yeah.
that is
That
what
is
is very important, that they start getting on that train, age to
yep,
age.
that
Yeah.
is right. It's not all about like for me, I worry about, media kids. I had to tell my boss this is becoming a thing. And then also he knows we have a good deal going on right now, but I get to run my podcast right here at work because it's nice and quiet and everything. But like what I'm seeing as a trend now on different people, company website, podcasts, everywhere they interviewed. And I'm like, wow, like if you're not out interviewing and promoting your company that way, what does that say? So I feel like the new trends I want to stay on top of and be ready for. I don't want to be like not in the know. And I think maybe, I don't know if other people have that as an anxiety fear, but it could be. But people just need to talk about it. Now, I see all these courses being given too. My
Mm.
question is, do we really need those courses, or is it just a way to make money? And I feel like they're using this new technology, should be like really free. I mean, come on, like we have YouTube, we can watch a course on there, but I don't think we need to pay up to $3,000 for that course to learn AI. I don't know.
Well, but look, I mean, you're free to choose. You
Yeah,
can participate and buy a ticket for $3,000, or you can do your homework and
homework is
yeah,
the best way. Yeah.
and learn for yourself. But it's free choice. Yeah,
Yep,
that's
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. So now, also, it says you have a proven track record
Mm.
and you spent 100 hours conducting seminars and workshops. She has helped individuals, couples, world champions, and Fortune 500 CEOs in all continents, showing, with your good profession and over 10,000 hours of one-on-one. 10,000. That's a lot of hours, girl.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So with your sessions completed, then your books that you have written have been sold in more than 50 countries. That is amazing. So what is the book's name? Where can we get the books? Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Well, I'd like to speak about the latest publication. We
Yeah,
just published it. Actually, today we published it in German language, which is a
German.
big, big milestone. The
Good.
latest publication, we published it in English, I think 5 weeks ago, maybe November 21st, if I
Okay.
remember correctly. And it's 5+2, the formula for love. For
Oh,
life, for life, for life. Excuse me, I take it all back. I'm confused and I share with you not to justify. But in 2016, I wrote a book, 5+2, the formula for love. And then I knew that it was a way too complicated book, over 300 pages, very complex. And
yeah.
it's deep. You cannot just read these 300 pages and then you know it all. No, no, no. So you read it by chapters, and then you
Yeah.
comprehend, and then you digest, and then you implement, and then you go to the next level. And I knew one day that I'm going to write it for children or for teenagers. So I wrote the 5+2, where I excluded from the big book
Yeah.
the 5+2, the formula for life. And it is absolutely beautiful what feedbacks we receive from parents, from grandparents, from teenagers themselves, from educators around the world who got an insight and who got a copy of it beforehand, because we wanted to get feedback.
Yeah.
It's filled with illustrations, and it is a beautiful, easy to read. And I think a lot of adults and young adults are going to read it, by the way, although it's made for teenagers. But aren't we all teenagers at times?
Yes, we are.
So
In
that
my
is
30s, I was like 18 in my head, 19, just doing, trying to live my teenager life as a young adult. So
yes, yes. So that is the newest publication. We also publish it, I think now on the 16th, we publish it in Spanish, the same
oh,
book. So we have it in 3 languages by now, and then we're expanding in further languages. Then I have another one. I think that's the basics for almost every life situation. It's the island model, Homo sapiens isolatus, meaning the isolated Homo sapiens. And it's
okay.
actually bringing people to the opposite. So to increase tolerance, increase acceptance, increase respect, and embracing the otherness instead of divide and conquer. So because
Exactly.
that must stop, because I think it's very dangerous for humanity. And I think that is a very easy to read book. In 2 hours you can have that, and that's the basics. When I go to companies and conduct a workshop with the companies, every single one who is attending the workshop must have had that read before, because that's the basics, because we can save so much time for
Yeah.
them and for me.
Yeah,
And then
definitely.
we have a foundation where we can build up on. And then I have another book, the software update for your mind. That's also a good idea, because it has
So
some tools
cool.
and skills, some emergency things. So what we can do, for example, when we're stressed, I give you one that's very simple. Fake smile. Fake smile
Oh,
for 60
oh,
seconds.
yeah.
When you must do it for 60 seconds based on neuroscience, because when you fake smile for 60 seconds, then there's a nerve behind your cheeks, and the muscles on your cheeks
That's what
push
they,
that. They push that nerve 60
uh-huh.
seconds. 60 seconds. So really check the timer or stopwatch, and then it signals the brain, okay, happy hormones. Yeah, and then you have very different neurobiology going on in between the
You're
ears.
right. It makes me want to giggle and laugh. I notice, like,
Mm.
I love that feeling when you just laugh and then you keep laughing. And, sometimes I'll be there and my son's like, "What are you doing?" And then I made my daughter laugh once at the restaurant, and she was drinking chocolate milk, but it came out. And then we both started giggling, and it was contagious. And,
Yes.
but it was so fun because that nerve, yeah,
So,
definitely.
really, when you feel stressed, because the stress hormones go up,
Hmm.
and you can get them lower when you really fake smile
Yeah.
60 seconds. So it's good. So people will now know when they see someone in your area driving with a fake smile there in Texas, then they will know, oh, it's Nadine. It's Nadine.
She has a big smile just driving around.
Well, humor is medicine. Laughter is medicine.
Yes, it is. It
Yeah.
really is.
There are a lot
There's
of statistics about there, and research studies. Good
on my
idea to look at
podcast.
that.
Yeah, my podcast. His name's Jeff Tharp, because by Tharpo, is the happiness coach, and he talks
Hmm.
about that. It sets off the endorphins. Is that what he called it? And
Endorphins,
makes you,
yeah.
yeah, and it just makes you happier. So he talked about, like, even with chronic pain, he told me, like, oh, just picture you're pulling out the ribbon with all the different colors, and that's supposed to help you, like you're pulling out this, so you're not focused on what's really happening in your body.
Hmm.
So those techniques I have used, and with all my guests that come on the show, I'm always learning something, and it's educational. So, like,
Hmm.
if I'm digging, like, I know I asked you what's NLP. Like, I had no idea. I see it on the paperwork. Did I have time to look it up? No, I didn't, but
Yeah,
I want to be honest and come and ask you. And
that
of
is
course,
lovely.
Yeah.
thank you for your interest and curiosity.
Well,
I
yes,
appreciate.
I'm very curious about everything when to hear that when people are going through all these, important milestones and learning this stuff in life and can share that with another person, that it is so important to what my podcast is about because we need
Mm,
to learn from this, and from what I'm understanding the formula of life. It kind of reminds me as a certified wedding planner, everybody's like, oh, just have a podcast on weddings. That's your niche. But I started getting doctors telling me they wanted to be on my podcast. And I was like, okay, well, I need to do like something bigger. I can't just focus on this one thing because I have requests. And it really came from
mm,
my friend. We would talk, I wish the world knew this and that. Is there a part that still does, the parties and wedding planning? Yes, it's just a different segment. But I'll never forget, like, I did not know what to call it. I was listening in the car, Crystal Method, and they have lyrics in the song called Keep Hope Alive. And I'm like, that and my name, because not a lot of people are named Nadine, especially around here. So I was like, yeah, Keep Hope Alive by Nadine. I like it. It has a ring. This way it can cater to everybody. And this way we can find out what people are knowledgeable and they can teach too. So
mm,
that's how that was born. So
mm.
but
Nice.
definitely, I mean, and then I was reading that you're a singer, songwriter, artist. You do it all, girl. So tell us about the singing and songwriting. I thought that was fun. That's your creative
Okay.
passion coming out.
Well, so that's a while ago. So I'm
Yeah.
currently not singing. I mean, I do sing at times, but I'm not publishing any new albums
Yeah.
or such. Well, I wrote my first song after my father died when I was 8. And I didn't know back in the days, and it was not really fashionable that, oh, the child is traumatized because the father and the grandparents died in a car accident. So I tried to find an outlet how to express what was going on within me, and I
Yeah.
found the piano as a catalyst. And my mom thought, oh, she's so talented, and she wanted to bring me to music school and send me to a piano teacher. And that didn't go well because I told the teacher that don't teach me what you teach anyone else. I don't want to know what others know. I only want you to help me know how I can move my fingers. And then I will know because I want to express myself. This is how I communicate with my
Yeah.
father. That was the last time I had to go there. So I was able to get away with that. And then I kept
That's
writing
all.
music, and I
Yeah.
kept writing poetry also in school. And then I was singing, and it was an expression of mine where I could share as a language some things that I could not express solely with words while speaking. And I had a dear friend who was a he's a very well-known piano player, and he had a gig at a big hotel, 5-star hotel somewhere in Europe. And he invited me, and I was there. And after that venue closed, I said, okay, can I use the piano? Because whenever I see a piano, it's just my heart beats for it,
Yeah.
and I feel attracted to pianos. And he said, yeah, sure, go right ahead. And so I start playing, and I start singing. And a lady walks up to me and with tears in her eyes, and she says, oh my good, what was that? Do you have more of that? I said,
Oh,
yeah, sure. And then, oh, here's my card. Will you contact me? And I didn't even look at the card. I kept playing. And then actually, she was the CEO of a music label. And there you go. I got a music contract for 5 years. I quit after 4 years because I didn't really enjoy some of the corruption that's going on in that industry. It's not
yeah.
very filled with integrity, and I wanted my rights back. And so I got my rights back, and then therefore we ended the contract on good terms.
Good.
And
Good. Good.
and I wrote other music. Last year I wrote, I don't even know, I think 12 poems in 10 days, because every time I went to bed, something came out of me, and
That's
it's
what's wrong with
unstoppable.
me. They had to give me sleep medicine 5 years ago, and it actually works. I say, my mind, I could probably create 5 different companies if I'm just there. Give me a whiteboard. I feel like
Mm, it's
Sheldon
good.
off of Big Bang. I was just like, I'd be jotting away, have this
It's
idea,
good.
and I would never get sleep because my creativity comes at night. So, and then just everything, but it's bad. I mean, the medicine they gave me, it helps. I fall asleep. But there's horror stories from other people taking it. I have some stories, but anyways, that's
Well,
another.
I'm not going to stop my volcano of creativity when it comes. I'm appreciating it, and it's
Yes,
unstoppable anyway. So it's, to me, I feel that it's a volcano, and then I allow it out, and then okay, fine. Then
only
come
if I could
out.
work
And
at that hour. Like, my job, I'd be all over the place, but here, but it's so funny because you learn about the hours and how creativity comes. And, I noticed after I had like 3 cups of coffee, I'm good. And then
mm,
I'm like, oh, it's almost lunch. And then after I eat, it's good for like 4 or 5 hours. And then it's just like, okay, brain wants to shut down. Let's go to sleep, for the next day. And then it becomes a routine. And becoming a routine, then, I don't want it to get old. I always want it to be fresh and new. Like,
mm,
there's nothing that's going to stop me about that. I'll come to work, even though it feels repetitive, let's change it up. Let's see
mm,
what new words I can put in an email. Let's have this campaign. Let's do this and that. What can we do to bring this energy level up? Like we were talking. So it's
yeah.
just the brain definitely goes to all that. And then what about like your art? You
Mm.
were in art fairs, museums across the United States. Tell me all about the art.
Well, yeah, that's as a child, I was very much allowed to play with my creativity. And my father was an inventor, and my mother was a fashion designer, and so I grew up around a lot of opportunity and possibilities and materials. And
Yes.
then after my father died, I went to boarding school when I was 10 and a half, and there we were taught all sort of art expressions, and I really enjoyed that. And I was not really able to choose one or the other. And people
Yeah.
told me, Days, you cannot do that. You cannot do this and that. You must choose. You're either a painter, or you're going to do in the visual arts, or you go into music. And I said, no, why would I choose and
Yeah.
neglect another aspect of me? So I did it all, and
So
I'm
I did
still
it
doing
all.
it. And I'm still doing it because I'm not going to withhold the creativity. What comes out through me, to me, is a gift, and I consider it
Yes.
as a gift, and I welcome it. And it's exhausting at times, by the way. So last year in Europe, I hammered nails, steel nails. I can show them to you. So this is the size of steel nails. So I like the 8 centimeter long nails usually. Um, and I hammered for 150 hours. That's only the hours that I counted for. Over 150 hours, I hammered this size of steel nails in a piece of wood, MDF actually it's called, covered with canvas for humanity.
Oh,
And
okay.
what I did, it actually shows, I can send you a link, maybe
Good.
you can
I'll
put it
post
under
it.
this, you
Yes.
can put it under this, because it's something that most people most likely have not seen yet, that it's possible to create beauty with nails. That's my medium. I very much enjoy
Yeah.
working with nails, steel nails. And so what it is, it's the figure of a human standing up like that. And these are all nails. And at the torso, you see that the nails are not as frequent. And the title of the piece is Together We Are Strong. So every nail represents a human. And you can see as we come together that then we are strong.
I
And
love it. I can't wait to see that.
thank
That's,
you.
I have a vision of what it looks like. Of course, it's black and white, but it's
Yes,
because the
yes,
color of nails. I mean,
yes. Yeah,
basically looking
yeah,
at that, but yeah,
yeah,
I can't wait to see that. And it's so nice to see art that inspires. For
yeah.
some reason, when I got my dad and his new wife, they live out in Shawnee, Oklahoma. That every time I used my GPS to get there, it took me on back roads. Now I bring this up because there was one back road in this house they had a metal sculpture very high, like up in the air, but it was like the hand, the finger, like you could see the finger, but it had a butterfly on top of it, like it was going to the heavens. And
Mm.
I, as a photographer, I would love to stop, but there's nowhere to stop. And there's always cars right behind me. And I'm just like, do I turn? Do I go back? Or do I just wait for next year? And I think there was only one time I got that chance, but the picture didn't come out the way I wanted it. And I'm like,
Mm,
I had to do it really quick. Darn, I'll have to wait till next year. But yeah, I say we get put on different paths for a reason. For some reason, my GPS takes me a whole different way now.
yeah.
And I was like, it's to see new things, you know?
Mm,
I think there's
maybe.
Wampatonka or whatever it's called in Oklahoma, but my son's like, I love this city. I go, honey, well, it has an old fire truck and it's kind of like, it has that run down kind of feel, but it's
Mm,
very historic at the same time. And it's a cute little town. So we like going through there. You know, it's just those little things. But
mm.
yeah, I definitely want to see the art you did. It made me just think of that one thing. And then all your social media, if somebody wants to come and visit everything, how can they find you?
The easiest way is to just daisypapp.com, DAISYPAPP.com. You find everything on there. So the foundation, even the nail art pieces on there, and the inverse is there. That's something that has to do with frequencies. It's hertz. It's very interesting project. It's complementary. Then you can also find free downloads. So complementary downloads about Heart, Light, Love. That's an audio program actually that is based on a study from 1996 from University in Kassel in Germany, where they measured how many light photons does the heart emit per minute. And they found out, so it's 20. That's the average human. And with a
Yeah.
special breathing technique and focused on the heart centered, you can increase that 5,000-fold. So
Okay.
yeah,
Huh.
so that means that all of a sudden you can emit 100,000 light photons. I mean, how cool is that? Let there be
That is
light.
really cool. Let there be
And
light. Yeah.
yeah, and that's a very, very powerful thing. Also, exactly what you mentioned before, so that you pull out that cloth, and
Yeah.
it's really focused. It really depends on what you do in your mind. I could be dead. I could be a drug addict. I could have been suicidal due to what happened in my early life, due to the tragic and being an orphan at 17. And look, I'm here, and it's not about keeping hope alive. It's about proving that it's possible.
Yes.
Because keeping hope alive is yes, maybe there will be, maybe they're not. I'm living proof, and I know one thing: when I was able to do it,
Yeah.
others can too, and
Yeah, definitely.
that
They
is
sure can. You
yeah,
got to
and that
focus
is
and
what I like to inspire.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. So that is so good. That is beautiful. So,
thank
oh
you.
my gosh, I'm making sure we covered everything here. Was there anything I was missing? Like
And
from,
now, maybe
but
the podcast Bald and
oh,
Blonde.
that's right. Yes, the
Yeah,
podcast. I
I
want to hear about your podcast.
Well, so I admit I was found by my podcast partner Kathy, because that's very important to her that she found me.
Yes.
And she truly found me online, and
Hmm.
she thought that maybe we can do a podcast together, and that's almost 4 years ago. And we started airing our show in August of 2020, and we are still doing the weekly show, and we have listeners in 99 countries currently, and with only word of mouth. And it's all about mindset evolution. So the podcast title is Bald and Blonde Mindset Evolution. You can find it on all streaming services. And we help people to get a better life and to empower them, because I know humans are just so beautiful and so amazing and so capable and competent when we allow them. And
Yes.
I like to show ways how everyone can access that. And that is why we do that. And
We're just
it's a
alike. Yeah.
passion. It's
Yeah,
a
it is a
passion of
passion.
mine. Yes.
Sometimes
And
I do. comes to us. And, I'll look at my stats and I see my listeners are coming from different countries. It makes
Yes.
me feel so good. Like I'll sit
Mm.
there and go, oh my gosh. And then it breaks it down to the cities. And I'm like,
Yes.
well, I know who lives out here and there, So I was just like, but
Mm.
seeing the different ones,
Yeah.
it's kind of like they're in my prayers. Whoever is watching, you have a special place in my heart. I'm just gonna let my
Yes.
listeners know that I'm praying over you, because when I can see it, I know I'm making a difference, and
Yes.
for you too, you're making a difference in people's
Mm.
world. And I mean, you've been at it for a longer time. And I think that, the podcast in 2020, we really needed podcast. So
Absolutely. We
yeah.
were not ready. We were not ready technically in March 2020, but
Hmm.
we nevertheless, with what we had, my podcast partner didn't have experience with microphones and cameras and such.
Yeah.
We produce audio mostly, and I'm very picky when it comes to audio quality, of course, because of my music history in the
Yeah.
past, and I'm more familiar maybe with microphones and recording software, and that we felt the need that it doesn't matter what's the quality, it's about supporting humans.
Yes, it
And
is.
and that was very important to us. And well, then censorship is very real, and so we faced a few hurdles there, and we learned what to address and how to address it, and
You see, and that's
to inform humans.
yeah, it's a
Mhm.
learning curve. It really is, because there's certain ways to say things, I hear different ways to talk about, church or God, or, the
Mhm.
person you worship, So those are new things, but it's, something you see different in the world. And there's other things that I'm learning as I go on. But I
Aren't
started
we
this.
all?
Yes, every day I learn
Yeah.
something new, and
Yes.
that's just the beauty of it. So,
Yeah.
but definitely. Well, do you have any big plans for the holiday season?
No, I
No.
don't. Well,
You
I
got
may be writing another book. I most likely will produce podcasts
yes,
during that
definitely.
time as well, and I have post-production to do, and
Yeah.
preparation for a new workshop series that's all about dating, because I think the dating
I
scene
need
is
to go to that.
well, look, I mean, you work with an event company, right? A big. Well, let's do it. I'm seeking for organizers, and then we co-create that. I'm like a racehorse. You show me the turf, and or you give me the stage, and I know how to bring it home. And it's a workshop series where
Yeah.
people learn about themselves, who they are, that they can let go of maybe false ideas how a relationship would be based on social norms, and
Yeah.
also they can maybe for the first time in their life define what a relationship means to them, and then they will be learning how to find out what they really do want, and then they will learn, that's the next step, how to find and live up to what
That's
they
where
do
I'm at,
want.
how to find, because this year has been a spiritual journey for me. And I said,
Hmm.
no, no more. I know what I want out of a partner, because I would be in the past, I'll just let it go. I'll just let it go. Maybe you can't change a person. So
No.
that just doesn't work. But I was like, I will be open-minded, go on dates, but if I feel and I know this is not going to work, don't trick your brain in saying it is. Like, I'd be like, okay, you're a nice person. I've had to put my foot down a little bit harder, but it's protecting what my wants and needs are. But it took a while to learn that, like really
Mhm.
what they are. And I try
Well,
not to be too picky, but
Well, that's where the 5+2 comes in. The 5+2 formula for life is basics. That's
yes.
that is life changing. When you send me your mailing address of the company, I'm happy to extend you a copy of that.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And
I will.
because that is life changing when you understand that, and you raise your standard. When you want a different life, I think the only way is to raise your standards, and then it's no longer about boundaries. It is about, okay, that's my standard and I stick to it. And when I live up to my standards, then all of a sudden the clientele or the dating partners that will be interested are already a different valuers of
Yes.
human values, and more respectful, because you will not allow that in your life because you no longer resonate with it. That is where then the law of resonance comes into place. I find it very interesting to observe. I have many reports from around the world what the 5+2 does,
Wow.
not only in their personal lives and family lives, but also in relationships and in businesses and its
That's
communities.
good. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Basics. It's a big
Gosh.
one. And
Yeah.
it's simple.
I've asked all my authors this, it's just to know because I know there's Kindle, there's Audible, and there's just, of course, the books, Do you
Mm,
offer the Kindle version and Audible?
yes.
You do? Okay.
Well, the Kindle version, yes. The latest book, I have one Audible book. It's a bestseller, actually. I narrated it, but it's one of the earlier books. So that is, I think that was released 2017. Um, I would I would not go with that. I mean, it's a beautiful book and you get a lot of out of it, but it's missing the illustrations. Audiobook, you're missing the illustrations, what's in there. Because
Oh,
how do you put, yeah, exactly. So
okay.
um I do a Kindle, and the newest book we're not going to produce as an audiobook either because it's full of illustrations, and that doesn't work for the 5+2, the formula for life. It doesn't work as Audible. We have another idea what we're going to do with it, and I'm working on it, and that's
Okay.
maybe Q1, end of Q1, maybe we will
o-
be ready with
Okay.
that, and then I will share with you, and then
Yeah,
you can share it with your
definitely.
audience.
Any updates along your journey and
Sure.
life, I will post.
I
If
appreciate
I'm
that.
ever
Thank
on
you.
Facebook, I notice and I see that something new, had see a new book or something, I will just share that and put it on the page because that's what's gonna help, people
Sure.
to know. And then if you say, hey Nadine, I have the new book out, it's ready. I'll put it in our store for our listeners to get that as
Sure.
well,
Thank
make a
you.
note of it. So, but my gosh, I want to thank you so much for coming on to the show today. I you're an angel. You're very smart at what you do, and I think you provided a lot of good information to our listeners today. So I
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Yes, I thank
It's my
you.
honor and my joy to
Oh,
serve. Thank
no.
you.
Oh, I love that. Honor just, I love that. That's awesome. I want to also really quick thank our other sponsors for Keep Hope Alive. As we mentioned, lifeonrecord.com is our interactive guest book, which is really cool. We have bridalshowsinc.com. If you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area in Texas, they do bridal shows about 4 to 5 out of the year. So you can look them up. I think the next one is in Las Colinas. And then at the end of January, they're going to be in Dallas. So if you're looking for that vendor to come and help you with your party, it's a great place to go. Then we have Party Time Texas. As I say, where I work, partytimetexas.com, where you can find your one vendor that you need or multiple vendors. We have DJs, bands, caterers, soloists, fire breathers, jugglers. We have bounce houses. We got wedding planners. We got the photo booths. We got anything that you need, call it or visit the website. Call us from that number on the website. I'm a dork.
Mhm.
Um, then I have Miles of Smiles Events.com. Miss Deborah Rose. She is a handwriting analyst and lipstick reader. She has investigation in her background too, but she has gone into a bunch of different events and done the lipstick read, and she's accurate. I gotta say, I've been one of those people that are like, that doesn't really work. My mouth drops open because she's right all the time with me and the other
Mhm.
people around me. I've seen her in action. I highly recommend her. And then we have Bryce Harney, our magician mentalist, and he is traveling all around United States right now, He's been through the television circuit, one of the best magicians out there. So brycemagic.com. Check him out. And our last one is richmondpunch.net. He graduated from the Juilliards. He's a violinist. He's played in front of 1 million people, and he goes all around the United States, and you can hear him. He has a YouTube channel linked on his website. He is amazing. So I want to thank you guys for coming and watching this episode. Wherever you find your podcast, you can find Keep Up Alive podcast.com through there. And then like us on Facebook. I even have a TikTok. I'm surprised I have a TikTok, and I decided to be the real version of me. So I may be laying there like Halloween dressed as Chucky and say, you want to play? But I think getting to know the person behind the talks is a good way to go too. So other than that, you can call today and leave our guests a message or any requests. That number is 833-780-HOPE, which is 4673. Then also I added a new feature to the website where you can leave a short little message and tell us what you want to hear. Requests are always welcome. Once again, thank you so much for coming on. I hope everybody's getting ready for the holiday season. Don't let the shopping stress you out. So other than that, I'm going to have all her links up and ready to go, so you can buy her book. Always check us out at the store too. So thank you guys. Love and light. Until next time. Bye.
Thank you.